1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome once again to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. 31 Days of Horror. Oops, All Werewolves edition. Today is day number 4. My special guest today is Aaron Ray Ballard, friend of mine from my haunted house days. Welcome to the show, Ray.
Thank you, Don, for having me.
You've before we get started, let me just say the movie we're doing today is Bad Moon. But before we get into that, you released a collection of short stories a little while back. Why don't you tell us something about that?
Sure. I wrote a book. It came out in 2021, September of 2021. It's called All the Monsters Are Here, 13 Spooky Tales. So it's a book of horror, and it's near and dear to my heart. It's a labor of love. I wrote it during COVID, because, what else did we have to do? And I'm just very proud of it. It's not a bestseller by any means. I'm no Stephen King, but I'm marketing the hell out of it, trying to, get copies sold. And so far, the word for people who have bought it, they like it. And I guess that's about all I can ask for. And it's available wherever books are sold online. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads. All you got to do is look for All the Monsters Are Here. Okay,
and we'll put a link to that in the show notes. Today we are talking about Bad Moon from 1996, directed and written by Eric Reed, based on the novel Thor by Wayne Smith, which apparently is from the dog's viewpoint.
Yes.
It is in color. It's 79 minutes. The budget was $7 million. The box office, $1.1 million. So that's disappointing. And our cast is Mariel Hemingway as Janet Harrison, Michael Pare as Ted Harrison, Mason Gamble as Brett Harrison, Ken Pogue as Sheriff Jensen, Hrothgar Matthews as Jerry Flopsy Mills, Joanna Leibovitz as Marjorie, Gavin Burr as Forest Ranger, Julia Montgomery Brown as reporter, and Primo as Thor.
Primo, what a great job Primo did.
So, Ray, yeah, he did a good job. Ray, why did you in particular want to do this movie?
Well, of all the choices you gave me, it came down to 2, and I liked both of them, but I love Bad Moon more. And when I say love, when it comes to werewolf movies, I'm very particular. And so to me, there's only been a few good ones. And whenever people ask what are your favorites, I almost never mention Bad Moon, but I always want to, because I just feel like, I don't know why I think other people wouldn't like it when I like it so much. It's just when you compare it to like American Werewolf in London, The Howling, Silver Bullet, Dog Soldiers. When it comes to recommending a horror movie, it's not the first one that pops up, but I really want to tell people to give it a chance, because it may be low budget. The makeup effects may not be Oscar worthy, but I think it's well acted, as much as a Michael Pare movie can be well acted. But I enjoy the movie. I think the reason why is the screenplay. And the screenplay is by a guy named Eric Red, who is, honestly, he's a great screenplay writer. He's had a lot of tough times, a lot of issues in Hollywood, so he's not prolific. But in the beginning of his career, he started out with The Hitcher, with Rutger Hauer. He wrote that. and he also wrote Near Dark. So when it comes to writers, I'm a big fan of writing and writers, and he's one of them. And he wrote, and I don't know if it was his directing debut, but I thought he did a really good job with the screenplay on this. And I think he got the actors that he could afford, and I think they did well enough. And the dog was really good, and the dog's kind of the main character. And I just love that point of view. There's a lot of things about this movie I love, but I wouldn't put it, again, it's not something I would say, hey, everybody, you want a werewolf movie to watch? It's not the first one I throw out. But I very much want to.
Okay. What was your other choice?
Lake Phases.
Okay.
I like that. I like the characters in that as well. And I like the story in that one. And it's much more recent.
Yeah.
But I like it too. But I like Bad Moon more, and I think it's because of the time I saw it. And because of the Eric Ray connection. Mainly it's the Eric Ray connection.
Okay. Well, it's a basic, what I've been calling a type 1 werewolf story. Mm-hmm. Which is a guy gets bit by a wolf and then has to deal with that and usually ends up dead at the end.
Right.
Type 2 is there's a werewolf among us and we have to figure out who it is. Sometimes you get both of those combined. And then type 3 is the secret lives of werewolves, where there's a whole society and we get brought into that world and have to learn all of its stupid rules and stuff.
And I'm assuming you're talking about that third category. You mean something like Underworld?
Yeah, Underworld, Blood and Chocolate, couple of other ones. You get that with a lot with vampires as well, where it's not just a single person and their experience, but there's a whole society, there's a whole world.
Right.
And sometimes they start off with there's already a werewolf, or sometimes somebody gets bitten at the beginning and then gets introduced into that whole thing.
Okay.
Or somebody falls in love with the werewolf, and then the werewolf has to explain to them why this isn't going to work because there's all of this shit going on. That's American Werewolf in Paris has some of that in it.
Okay.
And a couple of other things. And those are the main types I've seen. Those don't cover all werewolf movies. But those are the
werewolf,
three
Twilight,
most common.
like Twilight, for instance, where does that fit in? Like, you have werewolves in there, or wolf.
Well, that's gonna. It's been a long time since I've seen Wolfen, so I don't know. Twilight is a whole mashup of vampires and werewolves, but it's a secret life of, we're mostly learning about the secret lives of vampires, but we also learn about werewolves along the way. We get an outsider who's introduced into that world and gets shown around, and all the rules are explained to them and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting. I've never heard classification before.
Well, when you watch a whole bunch of these all at once, certain patterns start to emerge. So yeah, this is your basic type 1 werewolf story. This guy's in Nepal.
Yeah.
With his girlfriend and some brief nudity at the beginning, and she promptly gets killed. Mm-hmm. And he gets mauled enough to get infected and then goes home.
Yes.
And
for whatever reason, to
reconnect
with his family, even though he's trying to keep him at a distance as well. So it makes you wonder why he even came home.
Then agrees to camp in their backyard.
Yeah.
This guy. So my most unbelievable biggest problem with this movie is, how did he get his camper up onto that little ledge in the backyard?
Oh yeah.
What is going on there?
Yeah. Now that you think about it. Yeah.
Folks, there is this rise of dirt in the backyard that you need a little set of steps to get up to. That when we first see him, when the family first visits him, he's got the camper out at the lake on some little piece of property they have. And then they say, you should come stay with us and you can park it in the backyard. And he gets it up on this little piece of land, but there's no indication of how
That's true.
Because it
I
seemed,
never thought of
and it's very enclosed. It's not like we see a big road leading up to it or something. It's got trees right behind it. It seems like it would have had to be put in there with a crane or some shit. So that was just bugging
I never
the
thought of
hell out of me.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you would have done years ago, and then everything grew up around it, and now it's stuck there. Is what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Wow, that's funny.
I'm on board with the werewolf. I'm totally disbelieving the placement of the mobile home camper thing. So the biggest conflict in the movie is between this guy and the dog, Thor.
Yes. Who knows he's a
And,
werewolf? He alternates between the werewolf is his enemy, or sorry, the dog is his enemy, and then I guess the closer he gets to the moon or full moon or whatever, the more aggressive the character that Michael Pare Ted gets. He alternates between caring about his family and then being totally evil. Kind of goes back and forth. And the dog is like his mortal enemy. But they it's one of those I don't know if there's respect there. It's kind of weird. Kind of the ending.
I think they're trying to do like a pack alpha male kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to dominate him, but at one point he ends up just sort of taunting him and provoking him into attacking.
Yeah.
But this poor guy, he's trying to research his condition and see if he can find a cure, and he does have a plan to chain himself up at night. But he does kill some other campers along the way.
Yeah.
It seems like the chains work the first time that he does.
And he didn't make it the second time. Yeah.
He doesn't. One of his loving family members comes along and distracts him long enough when he's not able to. He's not able to chain himself up. So, the kid is also a lead factor in this movie. He's fine. He does an okay job.
Mason Gamble, for a period of time, he was the go-to kid actor from Dennis the Menace.
What else?
This movie.
Oh, okay. All right.
He appeared in a lot of things, and then just like most kid actors, he just kind of disappeared. But for a while there, every kid actor, every kid role in Hollywood, either he or Elijah Wood, or I could name a couple of others, but it was always those kids.
Let's see, he was in Just in Time, Spy Hard, Gattaca, excuse me, Rushmore, a couple other things.
Oh, yeah,
it looks like 2011 was the last thing he was in. Golf in the Kingdom.
Wow.
So
pretty good kid actor. The actors in this movie, I think, I wouldn't call any of them my favorite actors by any means, or character actors, but I think they did well in this film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge.
Mariel Hemingway, she's been in a lot of stuff.
Like going to be the next big thing in Hollywood, and then it just never happened. I mean, and then, but he's been around. He's still working, and this is one of his best roles.
I mean, I first saw him in Greatest American Hero.
Exactly, yeah.
And then he had
Eddie
a pretty big hit with Eddie and the Cruisers, yeah. But it was kind of downhill from there.
Yeah, Streets of Fire was supposed to be his, I guess, what do you call it? Coming out party, where he was going to be a big star.
Yeah, that wasn't anybody's anything. Some people just what's his name? Rick Moranis recovered from being in Streets of Fire. It didn't do him any harm being in it, but but it didn't do him any favors either. Bill Paxton was in that too.
Bill Paxton. Wow. Holy crap! Yeah.
Willem Dafoe was in it.
Rick Moranis.
Yeah. I need to rewatch that. I've always enjoyed Michael Pare. Well, usually enjoyed Michael Pare. I did not care for him in Blood Rain.
Oh well! Oh my God!
But I do like his TV show Star Hunter.
I never saw it.
That's pretty good. I think you can see it on Amazon these days. It's a good low-budget sci-fi thing. And then he's not in the second season for some reason.
And then he got married.
I thought she does a good job. She's been in a lot of stuff. Of course, her sister Margot Hemingway, grandfather Ernest Hemingway.
Both, yeah.
But she hasn't done much lately, has she?
No, she was at Frightmare few years ago. She still looks the same.
Oh,
She
yeah?
hasn't aged. Still hasn't aged.
Wow.
She's
She
she's always been a
well, she
beautiful
was there
woman.
because of this, or she done some other horror?
She's still in. She don't. I'm not sure. I think she was. Oh, Frightmare is a lot of people from the '80s. So if you made a horror movie
Uh-huh.
in the '80s or the '90s, they're there. So she might be working. I'm not sure what she's been doing. I know Michael Paré in a lot of independent films, a lot of very low budget, where you need a name actor for your movie to get finance, and maybe they do a couple of days work.
She was in something just this year
Okay.
called God's Country Song.
Hmm.
And she was also, in 2012, she was in Rise of the Zombies, so that's a reason to be at Frightmare.
Hmm.
But I'm not seeing a lot of horror in her resume, but I guess as long as you've been in one, you can show up at
Pretty much.
Frightmare. She was in Papa, Hemingway in Cuba as woman guest, so that was just a cameo. That was like, let's get some of those Hemingway, see if we can get any Hemingways in this movie. I thought the werewolf looked pretty good
It did.
in this movie.
Again, it's not American Werewolf level. It's not Howling level, but it's better than most, especially for the budget.
One,
they
it's
have.
a practical one, and I've been seeing some computer ones this month that are just terrible.
Yes,
So it makes me appreciate the practical ones.
exactly.
And
I
if you
think I
can make
appreciate.
if you can make a
appreciate
good
it.
computer one, great. But if you've got the tech to make a good computer werewolf, you go ahead. But if you can't, then just do a practical one. Don't show me some crap. I don't care for it. If anybody wants to watch this movie, it is on Peacock. It is also on Tubi and Sling and Redbox and Amazon and Plex and Freevee. All of those are free options. You'll probably have commercials thrown at you, but that's fine. It is fine. Okay. Anything else jump out at you about this movie that you want to mention?
Oh, well, other than I just like the point of view of the movie, the dogs. Even though the book, I haven't read the book, but
No.
Cujo by Stephen King was from the dog's point of view. The chapters
Uh-huh.
of that book were from the dog's point of view, and so I've never seen like Dean Koontz had The Watcher, and that was basically about a dog that was sort of the main character, and then you have Cujo, and you have this movie. I like those movies that take that point of view, the animal point of view, and I thought this movie did a good job of showing the dog's point of view, and it's just interesting. It's an interesting angle to do a werewolf film, and so I appreciate it for that.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to mention, at one point they basically arrest the dog after it's attacked Michael Paré,
Yes.
and then the boy goes to break him out.
Yes, just in time. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is the dog that ends up taking out the werewolf.
Yeah.
There's no silver required.
No. And I do love the scene where he gets rid of the dog. So through his actions, Ted's actions, he gets rid of the dog, and then he's marking his territory. He's getting aggressive and marking. He actually pees on the
Yes.
door's doghouse.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yes.
beat you, kind of thing. So it was it was an interesting script. I thought the movie was pretty well made, well directed, well acted. The only thing that held it back were just a few moments here and there of story contrivances they had to come up with. But I think I like it because of the low budget and what they did with it.
Mhm.
They did so much with
Yeah.
the budget, and there's a lot of other films that have 10 times the budget and don't do as well.
Now, if a dog gets bit by a werewolf,
Oh yeah,
Does
what
it?
happened?
become a werewolf?
I wonder. That's a good. Somebody should write that.
It says
A weird
here
dog.
that, I don't remember this. It says here at the end that Janet apologized to Thor for taking him to the pound. Suddenly, Thor, as a werewolf, growls at her, but it
Yeah.
turns out to be a nightmare.
Right.
Janet, Brett, and Thor are healing from their ordeal. I don't really remember that moment, but at
Remember the
least
nightmare.
they acknowledged that idea that
Yes.
That would be interesting, though, that the thing that's normally a dog starts getting bigger and walking around on two legs.
Yeah. That
Taking on
would be
human qualities.
that'd be interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'd like to see a dog or a wolf get bit by a werewolf and then look almost human.
Yeah. Tony,
And like put on a tie and a hat. And
learn how to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. That could be.
Let's see. Let's get to work on that.
That's pretty
We'll
cool.
get Billy to film it.
Yeah. Yeah. Bill Oberst the star.
Okay.
He can pull that off.
We'll call it Man Wolf.
That's pretty funny.
Okay. Well, I think we covered just about everything there is to talk about this film. I do recommend it. The last thing to do is to give it a rating. We're working on a full moon scale here. So the options are new moon, quarter moon, half moon, 3/4, or full. So how full is this moon for this movie?
Well, I've already described to you. Despite its flaws, I enjoy this movie, and it has a lot to do with Eric Ray. Again, screenwriting hero. I love the movies he's written, so I'm going to give it the 3/4.
Okay. All right. I think I'm going to give it a half a moon, which is right down the middle.
That's where I think most people would fall in. I think, if in all honesty, if I'm rating it because of I'm giving it bonus
Right.
credits. But most likely it's probably
Extra points.
Yeah.
All right.
In reality.
Well, Aaron Ray Ballard, thank you for joining me here on the show today. Check the links there for Ray's book and go watch the movie on all those free things. Come back again tomorrow for another in our Oops All Werewolves Halloween Marathon. Until then, I have been Precious D. Remember to keep calm and take shelter in basements and do not misuse science. We won't see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texacato Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/MMFTG.